Hey everybody, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green, and I'm going to show you around my orchid collection today. I've got a couple of things in bloom that have been in bud for quite a while, so looking forward to showing you those. And I've got some growth, some roots, some buds, some interesting stuff to look at, so let's move right along. First thing I want to show you is this gorgeous Paphiopedilum callosum, and this is a wonderful species from Southeast Asia. It's got green towards the center and then radiating out. It's got nice kind of magenta colored stripes. It's got black spots on the petals there and a nice purplish pouch as well. I took this plant to judging AOS orchid judging the other night. Ooh, I just wanted to show you how straight the stem is. The stem looks so amazing. No staking required. I took this plant to judging last night, and they said, well, it's not symmetrical, it's not flat, so no award. Well, that's okay. Let's look over to Paphiopedilum. Now, this is another species from Southeast Asia, and this species has no hairs on the flower. It's got a really nice pattern of dots on the petals there, and it's got a really big shiny pouch with some veining on it. Really cool flower. Again, I took this one to judging last night, and the same thing, not symmetrical enough, not flat enough, petals, too far forward, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, well, it's nice to hear what they think. And the third flower that I took to judging last night was this one. This is Malaxis latifolia. It's also known by another name that I can't think of right now. But anyway, it grows from a bulb that is dormant all winter, and the leaves have just come out beautifully this spring, and it's putting out this really nice flower, or inflorescence really, because it's got tons and tons of flowers all over it. The judges, once again, they said, well, it's, there's only one flower spike, and it's not particularly remarkable or anything, so no award for this guy either. That's okay. This thing actually puts out little babies, and it put out this tiny bulb last fall that just fell right off, and I planted it, and you can see just how small the new growth is compared to my thumb. So that's going to be growing up soon. Probably not blooming this year though. Now this is Phalaenopsis schilleriana. We saw it a few months ago in full bloom, and since it's summer, Phalaenopsis are in their grow mode, so this guy is pushing out a new leaf, and he's also got a couple new roots on the top there, as well as some new roots pushing out down in the pot, so that's always good to see. Now these are my Cattleya seedlings, and I've had these for several years, and I just am really happy with the way everything is growing. However, I am very frustrated with one problem that I just can't seem to overcome, and that is snails eating the root tips. Here's a telltale example of what it looks like. They have these scraping mouth parts that run along the end of the root, and if it doesn't get the tip, like in this one for example, they ate the side of the root, but they didn't get the tip, so the root lives on. But if they manage to eat that tip, the root will just die. And some plants, they go for one root and they don't go for another root. So what I've found is that the only plants that really don't seem to get any snails at all are the mounted ones, the ones that are stuck on these pieces of hickory bark. And I don't know if it's the hickory bark itself or just the fact that the plants are mounted. So I'm going to perform a little experiment actually. I bought some pieces of redwood, untreated redwood. It's supposed to be a great wood for mounting because it doesn't rot. I'm going to stick some seedlings on there and see if that helps. This is one of my larger plants. This is Hal, the bulbophyllum echinolabium. Hal's putting out a flower, and he's also putting out new growths. And something that's happened to Hal recently that I really didn't like is that the newest growth has got this brown stuff all over the leaf. And I think the reason is because water is getting trapped in that sheath there as the leaf develops. So I'm doing a little experiment. The newest growth on the other side there, I've got a little piece of plastic, like a little tent over it, and I'm going to leave that over there as the new growth develops. and we'll see if that one comes out more nicely. If it does, then I'll know that it's the water getting in the sheath causing the problems. Alright, well, let's go over and look at the Catasetums. These are orchids that have a very long dormancy, kind of from December through May, where they don't receive any water. So let's look at them. This is actually a Fred Clarkara hybrid, and it's got nice roots pushing out. Of course, the root that was pushing out of the pot was eaten by snails, but it is branching, and that's good news. And it's got a nice new growth pushing out there, so hopefully that's going to keep going well. This one is more Modia Jumbo World. It's a cross. It's got a couple of nice roots pushing out there as well. And this one blooms, I've had this one the longest. I've had this one about 5 years. And it blooms in the winter after all the leaves fall off. So it's really cool when it blooms because it's just those bulbs in the back and then these flower spikes coming off of those. It's still rooting from the base of the plant as well, so that's great news. Got tons of roots. Hopefully those roots are going to stay alive throughout the summer, and this is going to be a really nice big growth. Alright, now this is a pure Catasetum hybrid. This is Fong Sing, I believe, and it's got still lots of roots pushing out from the main growth, but it's also got roots that have reached the bottom of the pot. And I've started to, gently water these plants, and they got their first real soaking yesterday. So fingers crossed that they're going to grow. And I think these Catasetums, these bloom in the summer or late summer. So we'll see. All right, and the last one that I've got here, the furthest along, this is Cygnodus Wine Delight, really popular hybrid. It was awarded an FCC by the AOS in the 1980s. And it's got lots of roots as well. And this one blooms just before dormancy, so it blooms like in November, December. It did have a black spot on the leaf. I'm not quite sure why. It's happened before, and I'm wondering if it's not something to do with water sitting on the leaf during the night. I'm not sure. But the bulbs have plumped up very nicely since it started to get watered, and looking forward to a good summer growing season. And that is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's update of my green pets. And I am not sure if I'm going to be able to update in the next couple weeks because I'm going to be traveling a little bit, but I hope that you'll tune in next time and have a great summer. Hope your plants are growing well. And I'm William Green, and I'll see you next time. Take care.